losing attention. Not because your story is bad, but because the way you're telling it is. Let's fix that. Every good story needs movement, but not just any movement, tension and release. Here's what most people do. This happened, and then that happened, and then. It gets boring, fast. Great storytellers switch it up. They say, this happened, but this made it worse. Therefore, something had to change. That small shift from and then to but and therefore keeps people hooked. It's how the creators of South Park write every episode, and it works every time. Now let's talk about rhythm. Your brain gets bored with the same pattern, long sentence after long sentence. You'll lose people, but mix it up. Short, then medium, then long. Now the story feels alive. Think of your writing like music. It needs a beat, a flow, tip. Write each sentence on a new line. It's not just easier to read, it feels better. Now the tone. Forget sounding smart. Forget big words. Just talk like a real person, like you're telling this to a close friend. Look at the camera or imagine someone right in front of you. Feel that connection. It's not about being polished. It's about being real, because people don't trust perfect. They trust personal. Want your story to land? Start with the ending. Yup, before you write anything else. Figure out your final line, your last dab, your mic drop. Once you know where it ends, you'll know how to build everything leading up to it. This is especially powerful in short videos. Why? Because people loop them, and if your ending hits hard, they'll watch again. Most people tell the same stories. What makes yours different? The lens, the angle you choose. Let's say Taylor Swift shows up at the Super Bowl. Everyone's talking about her outfit, but you dive into how her presence boosted the NFL's stock value. Same story, different lens. That's what makes it yours. Pick a view that nobody else sees, or better say what everyone sees, but in a way they've never heard. The first line is everything. If it doesn't grab attention, nothing else matters. Avoid slow intros. Avoid setup. Start strong. Try asking a strange question, or make a bold statement. Even better, show something unexpected while you say it, because visuals hit faster than words. Use them. If you don't get attention in the first 2 seconds, you've lost. So how do you tell better stories? Don't wing it. Build your story like a structure. Start with the hook. Know your ending. Choose a fresh lens. Keep the rhythm alive. Speak like a human, and dance between calm and chaos. When you do this, you stop sounding like everyone else. And start sounding like you. You tell yourself to stop thinking, but your mind doesn't listen. Why? If you're in control of your mind, who's doing the thinking when you want it to stop? This isn't just stress. It's not just anxiety. There's something deeper going on. Something ancient. Something no one taught us to face. Overthinking isn't just a modern problem. It's a symptom, a signal, a reflection of something inside that's been ignored for too long. And the harder you try to stop it, the louder it gets. Because maybe, just maybe, your mind isn't malfunctioning. It's trying to show you something, but you've been too busy fighting it. This is where Carl Jung comes in, not just as a psychologist, but as a man who went to war with his own mind. He saw what most people run from. He listened to what others silence, and he discovered something life-changing. Overthinking is the voice of the forgotten self. Let's begin. Carl Jung didn't study the mind from a safe distance. He lived inside its chaos. He broke away from Freud. He walked through dreams, visions, and madness, not to escape them, but to understand them. Here's what he found. We are not one mind. We are many. The part of us we show to the world, the ego, is just the surface. Beneath it lies the shadow. The shadow is everything you deny. Your fears, your shame, your forgotten desires, your pain. And when you don't listen to the shadow, it doesn't disappear. It starts whispering, then talking, then screaming. That's overthinking. It's not noise. It's a message from the parts of you you've pushed away. Your guilt, your past, your suppressed truth. They're all knocking on your mind's door. Jung called this process individuation, becoming whole by facing your broken pieces. But we weren't taught this. We were taught to stay positive, to control our thoughts, to keep calm and move on. Jung would say, no, don't run. Look inside. Here's the trap. The more you try to control your thoughts, the more they control you. Think of your mind like a river. You can't stop it by grabbing the water. You just make it chaotic. Modern self-help says, clear your mind, meditate, think positive. But if you're using meditation to escape your mind, you're not meditating. You're avoiding, and avoidance strengthens the shadow. Even positive thoughts can become a prison if you're using them to silence your pain. Carl Jung didn't want people to fix their thoughts. He wanted them to understand them. Listen. Dialogue with the unconscious. Because that's where the real power is. When you stop trying to silence your mind, you start to hear what it's been trying to say all along. Ever wonder where those thoughts come from? Not just what they say, but who is saying them. Jung believed the mind holds archetypes, ancient patterns, living voices that exist inside all of us. You might know them already: the critic, the victim, the hero, the orphan. They speak in different tones, different fears, different needs. That voice telling you you're not good enough. That might be your inner critic, an archetype shaped by childhood wounds. That loop of what if something goes wrong. That's the orphan afraid to be abandoned again. Overthinking isn't random. It's structured, patterned, programmed by these deeper forces. And when you start to recognize the archetypes, you stop being scared of them. You start talking to them, understanding them, and, slowly, integrating them. You become not just the thinker, but the one who sees the thinking. Long before psychology, sages in India, China, and Tibet already knew the mind is not the master. It's the mirror. In Vedanta, they called it *** Maya *** illusion. In Zen, they said, don't follow the thoughts, watch the one who sees them. These weren't just poetic ideas, they were maps. They knew overthinking was a trap of identity, that the mind becomes restless when we forget who we really are. You are not your thoughts. You are the awareness behind them, and that awareness? It's still here, still watching, even now. Carl Jung wasn't opposed to spirituality. In fact, he saw his work as spiritual science. He believed that healing didn't mean fixing the mind, it meant reconnecting to the deeper self, the timeless self, the self that doesn't speak in words but in stillness. What if overthinking is not the problem but the invitation? What if every spinning thought is your shadow asking, will you finally see me now? We've been taught to fight our minds, but Jung would say, don't fight, dialogue, sit with the fear, sit with the doubt, ask them where they come from, and you'll find they soften, not because you defeated them, but because you finally listened. Integration means this: you are not broken, you are just unacknowledged. You don't need silence to be at peace. You need wholeness. There's one question that ends it all, or maybe begins it. If you are aware of your thoughts, who is the one aware? Not the voice in your head, not the stories, not the emotions, but the watcher, the quiet space behind the noise. That is who you are. That is what your mind has been pointing you toward this whole time. Not answers, not solutions, but the return to awareness. Carl Jung once said, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. So don't run from your thoughts, turn toward them, and you might just find yourself. Dreams are not just random images, they are the language of the unconscious, and according to Jung, they are mirrors of the soul. When you overthink during the day, your mind continues the story at night. Your dreams carry messages, but most of us never listen. Recurring dreams, nightmares, strange symbols. These aren't meaningless. They're clues. Every character in your dream is a part of you, every scene a message. Jung believed that to understand our dreams is to understand what our conscious mind refuses to see. So instead of escaping the chaos of thought, what if you asked your dreams, what are you trying to show me? Start writing them down, even fragments, because inside those fragments is your forgotten self trying to speak. Overthinking doesn't only live in your head. It lives in your body. Tight shoulders, shallow breath, a racing heart. Your body remembers what your mind wants to forget. Jung believed the psyche isn't separate from the body. They speak to each other. So if your thoughts are loud, check your posture, check your breath. When the body holds tension, the mind echoes it. You can't calm the mind by ignoring the body. So stretch, breathe deeply, walk slowly. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about feeling yourself. Because sometimes the fastest way to quiet the mind is to come back into the body. Here's a secret Jung knew well. We meet our shadow most clearly in others. The person who annoys you or triggers you or makes you feel small, there showing you something you haven't faced in yourself. Relationships aren't just connections, they're mirrors. The more you overthink what others think, the more your unconscious is trying to resolve old wounds, jealousy, insecurity, fear of rejection. These are ancient patterns replaying themselves, asking to be seen. So next time you spiral after a conversation or replay an argument in your head, ask, what part of me did that wake up? It's not about blame, it's about awareness. Others push your buttons, but they didn't install them.